All right, it is 5:12 Pacific, 2/12/2021. My name is Andre Denisi, and I'll be chairing this session of the Second Burbank Student Alliance Congress, and I hereby call this session to order. There we go. Before we begin, it is in order for a roll call for the public record so that everyone may see which members were present at this time. I will call out your name and you will indicate in the affirmative that you are here in some way, shape, or form. Mr. Dionysian.
Present.
Miss Elmoyan.
Here.
Mr. Chamani.
Here.
Miss Kroll. Miss Kroll is not here. Miss Nazarian.
Here.
Miss Nazarian is here. Representative Singh has indicated previously to the chair that they will be late approximately 30 minutes due to schoolwork. That should be reflected in the record when they do arrive. Miss Sarian?
Here.
Miss Sarian is present. Miss Angel? Miss Angel is not present. Representative-elect, hold on, Pakanyan?
Here.
Representative-elect Pakanyan is here and will be sworn in momentarily. Ms. Kohanim?
Present.
Ms. Kohanim is present. Ms. Santiano? Ms. Santiano is not present. Mr. Stein? Mr. Stein?
Present.
Mr. Stein is present. The chair would like to note that Mr. Stein was staring off into the distance and not paying attention. Shame upon him. With that
I was
said,
checking my notes on my other monitor.
With that said, we currently have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members present, and 1, 2, 3, 4 members currently absent. When and if they do arrive late, they will be marked present, and the record shall reflect their tardiness. At this time, we are opening to public comment. Anyone who wishes to be recognized to speak on any topic that they would like to bring to the attention of the Congress, or anything they'd like to say. Are there any speakers who wish to be recognized at this time? With unanimous consent, we close the session for public comment. The chair would like to note that typically we ask that all resolutions and bills be given to the chair 24 hours beforehand. Seeing as none have done so, we are not prepared to put any bills or resolutions on the floor, which should mean it's a relatively short meeting. But we are obligated to have a period of time where you guys are able to introduce a resolution or bill, but if you do, we will not vote on it until the next session. Who just joined? Did somebody join, or did Ani turned off her camera? Sorry. I just think I saw something shifting around. At this time, before we go any further, it is in order for the representative-elect from seat C3, Miss Pakanyan, to take the oath of office. Please give me a moment while I pull up the oath of office. We also ask that the member in question do turn on their camera. Of course, they are not required to, but since it is going to be put up on YouTube, we do ask that they turn on their camera for the public record. Forms and documents, operations code. It was an operations code, right? Or was it election code, Tony?
Election code.
Election code. I gotta remember this stuff. I wrote the damn thing.
It's okay. I even have trouble finding almost
Here we go.
everything.
Okay, you may place your hand on any book of your choosing. We suggest it be a copy of the Constitution. If you don't have one, it may be a religious text or a copy of Sports Illustrated. It really doesn't matter. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully defend the interests of the students of Burbank.
that I will faithfully defend the interests of the students of Burbank.
I shall do so while abiding by the Constitution of the United States
I shall do so by abiding by the Constitution of the United States
and the state of California.
and the state of California.
I take this oath willingly without any mental reservation
I take this oath willingly without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
Thank you. Congratulations, Representative.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Let's get to work. Today we do not have any, again, as I mentioned, resolutions that have been submitted to me beforehand. So, we're not going to do any of that. It's going to be a pretty light day. I'm going to give you a quick briefing and then that's it. But before we do, I will once again briefly open up the public comment period. If our brand new representative wishes to speak and introduce themselves, that is entirely up to you.
Hi, I'm Haley. I'm really excited to be working with all of you and to make our community a better place.
All right. Thank you, Representative Pakanyan. At this time, as we are required to, if there are any representatives who wish to put forward a motion or a resolution or a bill or an initiative or charter of any sort, please speak at this time and ask to be recognized. Seeing as nobody has wishes to be recognized, with unanimous consent, we move to close that period. Now, again, it's a pretty short day. We are going to go ahead and move to House Chamber B for a classified briefing, and then we'll come back here and wrap the session up. It's a very light day. All right. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The chair would like to apologize on the record, noting that we forgot that we are voting on the Reed Initiative Charter and the Comms Division Charter today. So we are, in fact, voting on some stuff contrary to what I mentioned. The chair would also like to note for the public record that Representative B3 Kai Singh has entered the chamber late, but is present at this time.
Oh.
Yes, did anybody else enter late that I didn't notice when they enter? No. Okay. The chair would also like to note at this time Representative B1 Victoria Kroll, C2 Emily Angel, and D2 Isabella Santiano are not present at this time. At this time, it is now in order for the Reed Initiative Division Charter to be introduced. Since this was not something the executive did on its own, I will permit any member of Congress to sponsor the charter if they wish.
I'll sponsor it.
Okay, RP and Jeffrey, you can co-sponsor because I saw Jeffrey's hand go up. Jeffrey's hand went up first, so you'll make the bill sponsor speech.
I will actually yield the bill sponsor speech to RP.
Okay, RP, just read it, and then give your brief, got it?
All right. Just the mission statement?
Hold on. Yes, for the charter, you just read the mission statement. We're not going to have you read the whole thing. All right. The chair recognizes Representative Sarian for the balance of her speech.
Right, so the READ will work to restore our literature curriculum by ensuring that students have continued access to an environment that stimulates learning the lessons embodied in these works. So the works are basically, that we're referring to, are the books that have currently been banned by the BUSD. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Representative Sarian. At this time, the co-sponsor, Mr. Stein, is recognized for 1 minute.
I simply would like to add that being able to continue to discuss these books freely, despite their content being in some cases objectionable, allows for a significantly more nuanced approach to education, which we do not want to take away that nuance just for the sake of political correctness. Therefore, I also co-sponsor this charter. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. At this time, are there any representatives who wish to be recognized to affirm or negate this charter? The chair recognizes Representative Singh for 1 minute.
Actually, a point of order. May I ask a question?
It's a point of inquiry towards whom?
Inquiry. Towards whoever, like, I guess the bill sponsor.
Point of inquiry to Ms. Sarian. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, so are we going to be using the same books that we were, like, that have been banned? Are we going to be discussing those specifically?
Actually, the chair will take that question. Sorry, Ms. Sarian. Briefly, so we've discussed this with the English department, and their goal was never to just keep the curriculum the way it was, because the way it was obviously wasn't working. These books have to be taught in a very specific manner for their value to be, used, but also to be very sensitive towards the material. So, according to the English department's recommendations, and we completely agree with them, the division will essentially take some of the books that were removed from the curriculum and pair them up with parallel storylines, books written by POC authors on the same general issue.
Great.
So we use...
That was what I was... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Could I just say my point?
Representative Singh, you are out of order. The chair recognizes Representative Singh for 1 minute.
Thank you. Didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say that was my original problem with the entire thing, was because I didn't want to have, like, How to Kill a Mockingbird and stuff like that to be the only narrative taught, especially because it's by a white author and it's really negative. The way that they spoon feed a lot of the BOC problems, and just in general is like a really not the best book to read to tackle those issues. So I was just wondering what you were going to do with that.
How do you yield your time?
I yield my time to the chair.
The chair recognized himself for a brief moment. I would like to point out, so we're fully aware that it is not the greatest, it's got its issues, but we believe that the value of the book is important and we need to have it, but it can't be on its own. On its own, it doesn't give you a complete picture, but also just the POC book, the POC authored book doesn't give you the complete image either. You need to see a holistic view, and we're relying heavily on the teacher to be able to take the two and create a real view of the horrors of American racism in the past and in present day, to get the message truly across to students. The chair yields his time to himself, which is a cool thing I can do. At this time, are there any representatives who wish to be recognized? The chair would like to note for the public record that Representative Kroll in seat B1 has entered the chamber late. Welcome, Representative Kroll. The chair recognizes Mr. Stein for 1 minute.
Thank you. And I would like to motion to vote with unanimous consent.
With unanimous consent, we move to vote on the Read Initiative Charter. Are there any objections? Okay. All in favor? Oh, well, no. It's in order for a roll call vote. I'm going to call out your name. Please answer in the affirmative or in the negative or abstain. Mr. Dionysian.
Aye.
Miss Elmoyan.
Aye.
Mr. Tamani.
Aye.
Ms. Kroll.
Aye.
Ms. Nazarian.
Aye.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Ms. Sarian.
Aye.
Representative Angel is not present at this time. Representative, I gotta get your name on the roster. Pakanyan.
Aye.
Ms. Kohanim.
Aye.
Representative Santiana is not available at this time. Mr. Stein.
Aye.
With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yays, no nays, and 2 members not present, the Reed Charter passes. The chair recognizes himself for a brief moment. I'd like to say for the record, this is a very difficult issue. I did speak with the principal of Burbank, Dr. Crowther, briefly in an unrelated meeting on the issue. And he explained his view on the subject, which differs from the majority of Burbank students. Everybody, I want to say this very clear. Everybody who supports the removal of these books does not do so with any malice intended, and those who oppose it do not do with any malice intended. We're all trying to address the same issue. We all want to find the best way to teach students about the true nature of racism in America, both in the past and in the modern day. As we've demonstrated today, the students of Burbank believe that to be a holistic approach that includes the older novels as well as newer novels by POC authors to create a holistic approach. We hope that that works. This is what the professionals are telling us works. This is what the teachers and the English department is telling us works. And we will, I know myself and everybody else who is assigned to the division will work tirelessly on your behalf to do our best to tackle this enormous issue. The chair yields to himself. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized before we move on to the Communications Division Charter? With unanimous consent, we close the period of discussion. At this time, we are going to have the Vice President sponsor on behalf of the Executive the Communications Division Charter. Mr. Vice President, the Chair recognizes you for the balance of your speech.
Okay. Hold on. I need to actually open the Communications Charter. I'm sorry. Andre, can you send it to me? Or wait.
The link
did
is
you
in
put
the
it
ballots. The chair suspends the rules for a moment.
Oh wait, Communication Division.
The chair has suspended the rules. Kai, real quick.
Okay.
You are going to be the director of communications. It is technically within Congress's right to interview the director that I have appointed. Would everybody like to do that, or would you just like to skip that? Because it is your right to interview the appointed director. Does anybody object to skipping that? Okay, so in that case, we'll just skip the interview. The chair reinstates the
Andre,
rules.
do you want me to read the charter or?
Mr. Vice President, that is out of order. The chair suspends the rules. Yeah, Tony, what?
Do you want me to read the charter?
That's what you're
I'm
supposed to
a
do,
little lost
yes.
right now.
You read the charter, and then you give an impassioned plea for why we need a communications
Oh, you better
division.
hope I can do that.
Okay,
You better hope I can do that. Okay.
the chair reinstates the rules again. The chair recognizes Mr. Ordukhanian for the balance of his speech.
I thank the chair, and I hope to God that my speech even makes sense. Okay, so for the Communication Division, the charter states, it is the goal of the Communications Division to craft and deliver the BSA's message to the students of Burbank. That is the mission statement. So, Andre, we gotta add more to that. Okay, so the Communications Division in this case is supposed to simply put, as it says in the title, keep everybody informed as to what is going on in the BSA and how it's working with other people. With this, we would be working with clubs. If I'm correct, this is that one, Andre.
Point of information. Correct. It is the branch that will house the club council, which is a project we're working on to involve clubs from both Burbank and Burroughs in the decision-making chain.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Basically, with that club council, we will be contacting certain clubs. We would obviously, for now, start with Burbank High, but we will work with Burroughs, obviously. In which case, we would be contacting them as to how we're doing and to help us out. In that case, what's good is that we would get members too. However, we're not like basically advertising BSA every single time. We just want to be there for help and support. I'm gonna hand it over to Andre now because there was something he wanted to say when it came to like a summit. He knows more about it compared to me.
You gotta
I
yield.
yield my time to the chair.
Yeah, so the chair recognized himself. Basically, we're doing what we're calling a future leadership summit, where we're going to invite key members of the community, mainly in high school and whatnot, and we're going to discuss leadership as it pertains to clubs, as it pertains to external organizations like the BSA, moving forward, because what we've seen through the COVID-19 pandemic and through this recent rise in people being aware of politics all of a sudden, post 2016 really, but really up to 2020, it's been the big boom, because people have been kind of staring at TikTok all day and be like, oh, wow, government. But yeah, so we want to have a summit to discuss all of that. And to talk about how the BSA can cooperate with these organizations, whether they be in schools or outside of schools, moving forward to give students a better voice. Any club that joins the club council will get an invitation to the summit. We hope it's successful. This is probably, we're talking about like in May. It's going to be one of the last things we do. It's going to be large, but it's not going to be huge or anything. It's mainly just kind of a discussion that I think we should have, and we should have in a public setting. The chair yields to himself. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized to speak on the communications charter at this time? Okay. With unanimous consent, we move to vote. I will call your name. Please state in the affirmative or the negative. Yeah, I said that correct. Mr. Denisian.
Aye.
Ms. Elmoyan.
Aye.
Mr. Tamani.
Aye.
Ms. Kroll.
Aye.
Ms. Nazarian.
Aye.
Representative Singh.
Aye.
Ms. Sarian.
Aye.
Miss Angel is not present. Miss Pakanyan.
Aye.
I'll remember that at some point. Miss Kohanim.
Aye.
Miss Santiano is not here. Mr. Stein.
Aye.
All right. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the affirmative, none in the negative or the negation. In the negative. Doesn't matter. Nobody voted nay. And with 0 votes abstaining, ladies and gentlemen, the charter has been adopted. Or passes. Whatever. It's in. We're done. Okay. At this time, the chair will open a period of comment to any member who wishes to be recognized. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized to speak on anything? At this time, the chair recognizes Mr. Stein for 2 minutes.
2 minutos, damn it. No hablas español?
I know enough to have passed Spanish 2. The chair recognizes Mr. Stein for 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I would like to say that I think it might be worthwhile to make it easier to contact representatives, and I'll probably try to introduce this as a proposal next week.
Point of information, it would be a bill.
Bill, thank you. That being like just to have the contact information, like have the contact information of Congresspeople be provided on the BSA website. I think that might be something we should look into, just to allow BSA to be more accessible to the voter. That made sense.
How does the speaker yield our time?
To the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Does anybody wish to be recognized at this time? The chair recognizes Representative Kohanim for 2 minutes.
I have a question.
The point of inquiry. Who is the point of inquiry directed towards?
You. I guess.
Okay, point of inquiry to the chair. Go ahead.
Okay. From my knowledge, I know that like I'm guessing all, but I guess majority, just in case I don't know. The student.
Representative Kohanim, unfortunately, we can't hear you. You seem to have frozen.
People.
Zoe, okay, Zoe, I'm gonna kick you and have you rejoin. Okay. Sorry about that. Zoe, you back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you were glitching out a second ago, but we can hear you now. Hello?
I'm at my grandma's and the internet's really bad. So can you guys hear me?
Yes, yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a question if there's any way to like let the students that are people of color like voice their opinion on the book ban, to kind of like give them the chance to voice their opinion, because it seems more like the school representatives that are with the ban, they're not really like in their shoes. So is there any way to give them a chance to voice their opinions? Or?
So all our sessions are public. Any student or adult, for that matter, is permitted to come and view it. That said, what you can do as a representative is, if you have specific constituents or friends that you know that like to speak out on the issue, you can bring them in here, and then I will give you time and you can yield your time to them, and they can speak in front of the Congress and to the camera. And does that sound good?
Yes, thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
All right, thank you. Are there any other representatives who wish to be recognized at this time?
I wish to be recognized.
The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian for 2 minutes.
I thank the chair. So I'd like to respond briefly to what the Representative Stein said. I think it's a great idea that we should put our contact information up on the website to make us more accessible to our constituents. However, I don't believe it should be mandated for any single person to make their their private contact information available if not comfortable. I personally would do it. I think it's a great idea, but it's not something that we can necessarily have the authority to mandate any congressman or woman or representative to do. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Dionysian. The chair recognizes himself for a brief moment. I'd like to point out we are not legally allowed to force anybody to do anything. Everything kind of just hinges on the fact that people are responsible, and if they don't do the responsible thing, well, then that's something that may be used against them in a future campaign. So I'm confident that if there's somebody who's just doesn't want to do this, that either their constituents will understand and they'll be fine, or the constituents, if that's seriously becoming a problem, not being able to contact them, will probably just vote them out anyway. The chair recognizes Mr. Stein for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to quickly respond, Arno. I completely agree. This is optional. I do want it to be optional. Just it's just to allow Congress people to be able to better do what they do and to better represent. Might as well make said contact information. Good Lord, English is difficult sometimes. Make it more available is just convenient for everyone, but it's not required. I yield to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized at this time?
Very briefly, I wish to be recognized.
The chair recognizes Mr. Dionysian briefly.
Thank the chair. I only said that because you mentioned you would propose a bill, and a bill implies obviously that, it'd be some sort of mandate. So that good to clear up the confusion. I yield to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Denisian. Are there any representatives who wish to be recognized at this time? Okay. With unanimous consent, we close the period of public discussion. At this time, it is in order for a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion on the floor? The chair recognizes Mr. Stein.
I second the motion.
He has not made the motion yet.
I haven't even said the motion. You are out of order, sir.
Mr. Stein, that is out of order as well. That is not a motion.
All right, sorry. I motion to adjourn this meeting.
There is a motion on the floor to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second? What?
I'm out of order. I know, but we were supposed to talk about the ACD really quick.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for objecting. The motion is not recognized.
I rescind my motion to begin with.
The chair recognizes the vice president for as much time as he needs to give you guys a briefing, a public briefing, on the state of the Artsakh Cultural Defense Division.
I think the chair. I'll make it quick, just because I know everyone wants to leave. So yeah. All right. So basically, with the Artsakh Cultural Defense Division, I just want to let you all know that I know November, December, it was kind of rough start for us. Finals were obviously in the way, and it was during the ending of the war. January, obviously, we were all focused on the election of the second Congress. So mostly all we were able to do during that time was weekly updates. But right now, we're obviously about to step up because now it's February and we finally found our space. Hallelujah. But right now, the main thing right now I wanted to bring up is that we're planning to have a event, which is a panel discussion, in which we would be inviting about 2-3 guests. What we basically do is talk about post-war Artsakh, basically focusing on the humanitarian and the geopolitical crises. With that, those 2-3 guests, I would be moderating them. Again, this is not a debate, though. This is a Socratic seminar-styled kind of discussion. It's a panel discussion. I would be there just giving the questions and letting people speak. And this would be taking place in about 2 weeks. We're obviously getting started, and I had Andre join our meeting last night just to help us out with it and to get it approved by him. Nina, is there anything I should add? Actually, I yield my time to the chair. I'll let him figure it out from there.
The chair gives him back his time and asks that he yield it to Nina instead.
I thank the chair for giving me back my time. I yield my time that's remaining to Nina.
Oh, I don't really have anything to add, so I yield my time to the chair.
Okay, whatever. I saw Representative Kroll's hand go up earlier. Were you seconding the motion, or did you have?
I was seconding.
Okay,
that was a second.
Okay, good. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn? I'll give it to Kroll.
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
There's a motion to adjourn this meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second, and I withdraw.
Oh, damn it.
Okay, there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All abstaining? Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, the motion is adopted. The meeting is adjourned.